All right, guys. So let me tell you what we're going to do here today. It's going to be cool. I'm going to take this arrow that bear shafted very, very well, slightly, ever so slightly weak, which is what you want. You don't want them stiff now at all. You don't want them stiff in case you short draw or anything. You don't. Trust me, you don't want them too stiff. But this arrow was very, very good. 250 grains on the front, 600 spine, traditional only, standard carbon arrow. Okay, I'll shoot it, and then we have built a couple of the test kit arrows and the Barebow only, traditional only Barebow, slimmer diameter arrows. Now they're thicker walled. They're 7.9 grains per inch in a 600 versus a 7 grain per inch, so they're almost 10 grains per inch heavier as it is than these arrows. So it does help us to get to that optimum arrow weight around that 500 grain mark or more. It helps us a lot with that. We don't have to put so much point weight on to get there. So I think these are going to be really good, guys. I really do. But I'm going to fire this one, and then I will turn around and I will shoot an identical build in one of these to see, hey, is there any difference in them? Do they shoot alike? No matter which brand you get on there and order and have them cut the same, run the same point weight, will they shoot the same? Okay, let's try it. Let's just see, fellas. Let the testing begin. There it is, 28 inches. Here we go. Still good. It's still good. It's slightly weak. I mean, it's slightly still. It can't handle any more. That's for sure. I mean, it's at its borderline, cut 29 inches. Now, if you cut it down any, of course, I mean, yeah, it would be bullet straight. But okay, that thing pulling a full 28 inches, it's bear shafting good. It really is. And yes, you can nock tune. You can spin these things just like any other arrow, and you can get a different reading. I could probably flip it around, turn it around, and get a complete different reading as it is, guys. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it just to see if it changes it before we even go to this other arrow. Stick with me. Yeah. Put her on here. Give her a little twist there. Move that weaker side in or out a little bit and just see what it does. All carbon arrows have a seam, unless they're spine aligned, which means they have a strong side and a weak side. So you could simply nock tune one and get a complete different reading out of it. You can. And I don't remember exactly how I had the nock indexed when we did the last video. .28 inches. Oh, that made it worse. See? A simple nock tune made it even weaker. So I'm about to grab this thing and we're about to turn it a little bit more and just see what it does. It's the exact same draw, because nock tuning, guys, is a fact. It's a fact. You can take a arrow, a carbon arrow, and simply put it on your string and rotate that arrow until either the strong side or the weak side is against your strike plate and change the entire tune to that arrow. Yes, you can. So let me grab it right quick. All right, I nock tuned it a half round. See what I mean, guys? So much better. So much better. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. When you're bear shaft tuning your arrows, even if you're doing it by hand, and sometimes even shooting arrows that are fletched, I mean, literally, guys, shooting fletched arrows, simply not tuning them, especially with broadheads, can make a huge difference, because unless they are spine aligned, they are going to have a strong side and a weak side, and they're going to read a little bit different. Okay, some arrows do, some arrows don't. So we know now, we've learned something today. We have learned that the traditional only arrows are sensitive to nock tuning. Yes, they are. They definitely got a strong side and a weak side, and it is next to impossible to figure that out without testing them and shooting them. It is, guys. Okay, so now that we're back in the game, I'm going to shoot one of these and see exactly what it does. Let's do the 600 exact same build and see if this arrow shoots like that arrow does in its best position. Okay, let's just see. I'm going to have my nock index out. That way I'll know if there needs to be anything done to it. Identical. So the myth is out the window on slimmer diameter arrows. Now, not micros, but slimmer diameter arrows being weaker natured than a standard. There you go. These two arrows just shot identical. Both of them ever so slightly weak. Okay, so that tells us this is probably what we're going to need for the perfect arrow in a 40-pound longbow. Drawing 40, cut to center, 29-inch carbon to carbon, 250 grains on the front. Most likely we're going to need to go to a 500 spine. Okay? I'm going to shoot this 500 and just see what it does, see if it's better. Laser straight. Laser straight. There you go. All right, so make you scratch your head on these arrows. That's why we're doing these tests, guys. That's why we're doing them. Okay, so you never want to be too stiff. You don't. And everything is a factor when you're ordering arrows. It is. Because you got to know exactly how long you're drawing the bow. What pound you're really holding. Okay, but this will give you an example. Hopefully it will. That a true 28-inch draw, a true 40 pounds, with 250 grains on the front, a 500 spine in this arrow, in the Barebow arrow, is as straight as it gets. It is as good as it gets, okay? We were able to achieve a very good bear shaft with the standard diameter arrows with a 600 and 250 grains. It's weird, but yes, we were. We were also able to get a 500 cut 30 inches, 1 inch longer, to do virtually the same thing, and even going up higher on point weight and getting more total mass weight. So it's all about how much total arrow weight you want to have. So in other words, to get over that 500 grain total weight mark, even in the traditional only arrows, you probably would need to go with a 500 if you're going to run over 250 grains, or an arrow 29 inches or longer. If you want to shoot a longer arrow, yes, you can shoot a little bit lighter weight and get by with it, whatever. If you cut the arrow down, of course, you can stack on more weight. You can. Obviously, a 500 in those is going to handle a lot of point weight, a whole lot out of a 40-pound bow, a whole lot. So, guys, that's what I'm seeing here in this test more than anything, is to get the optimum arrow weight. that you want, to get the weight that you want in an arrow, let's say over 500 grains, you've got to shoot enough point weight to get you there, okay? And in doing that, most of the time, you've got to have enough spine to get you there without it being too weak. However, you don't want to be too stiff at all. That's the no-no in any arrow build, is don't go stiff with your arrows. Never, ever, ever be stiff. You've got to have paradox. That arrow's got to be able to get around that shelf. It has to happen. Fletchings are going to correct pretty much everything, but we are strictly bare shaft testing out of this bow, different brands, seeing what they do. So, we know, and as a matter of fact, guys, let me do this. Here is the original. Here's the original with the 250 grains on the front, 30-inch, 500 spine. Let's shoot this 500 and see if it is as laser straight as that 500 is in the Barebow arrow. Let's just see. And it should be. It really should. So I'm not seeing any difference in the nature of the two arrows. And that's what today's test is all about. Can you order either one of these arrows and expect a different altogether nature? No. They're going to be about the same. Even though the diameters are different, these arrows are tuning the same. Well, here we go. Laser straight. Laser straight. Okay, so there you have it. 30-inch, 500 works great with 250 out of a 40-pound bow. 29-inch, 500 with 250 works great, and the slimmer diameter arrow. Anything less than that, you're going to probably want to go with the 600, because I honestly believe you're going to be getting too stiff. I think you will, because there's just no room. If it's any less draw than that, any less weight whatsoever, you need to go with the 600 spine. You do. Now, if you're 28 inches pulling 40 pounds or more, yeah, stay with the 500s. But anything less than that, no. Go down to the 600 and put 225 or 250 on the front. You're going to be good. You're going to be really, really, really good for a hunting arrow, and you will still have an arrow total weight somewhere in the upper 400s, which is plenty. It is. With a sharp broadhead, it's plenty, guys. So, I hope you've enjoyed today's test for the traditional only Barebow arrows. There's where we're at, guys. So, you can confidently order any of these and expect them to be natured just like a standard diameter arrow in the ones that we've already tested. Now, we've still got a lot more to test that may not be that way, but 3Rivers house brand arrows, yes, they do the same. They are natured the same. These are just a little heavier in overall mass weight, which is kind of an advantage, guys. It really is. But some guys like a lighter arrow with a heavier front build. It's whatever you like, guys. And they like standard diameter better than slim. Vice versa, every bow shoots one arrow better than it does the other for some reason. But for bare shafting, they are identical, guys. Build for build, they're identical. Thank you for joining us today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phelps. I love you guys so much. Praise God for everything that He allows us to do, including doing these arrow tests. It's so fun, guys. It's so fun. I cannot wait to get all this stuff done. It's going to be an adventure. That's for sure. We're going to learn a lot. Stick with us, guys. Till next time, God bless.